At some point during that foot pursuit, the deputy did shoot the suspect.
Thousands of homes alerted via a reverse 911 call to a scary situation in Centennial. One suspect sent to the hospital, 2 others at large, the latest ahead. And a plume of smoke rose from above the foreign embassies in Kabul, Afghanistan. 80 dead, hundreds injured. Several of those are U.S. citizens. Plus, when it comes to differentiating between a dangerous rattlesnake and a common bull snake, there are a few key things you should know. Plus, drone nuts? A whole new way to get your morning sugar fix. 9 News at Noon is next.
This is 9 News.
Welcome to 9 News at Noon. I'm Taronda Thomas. We begin with the situation that's unfolding right now in Centennial, a carjacking that leads to a crash and then an officer-involved shooting. 9 News reporter Jessica O is live near Dry Creek in Yosemite right now in Centennial. Jessica, what can you tell us?
Hey, Taronda. So the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says it's still looking for 2 out of the 5 suspects involved in an armed carjacking this morning, a carjacking that eventually turned into a deputy-involved shooting. There are thousands of homes that are on alert, thousands of families that are on alert right now after receiving a reverse 911 call from authorities alerting them that there may be 2 suspects on the loose in this area, suspects who may be considered armed and dangerous. There are also 2 schools in this vicinity that have secured perimeters right now as well. While school may not be in session, there are still school activities happening today. So authorities say there is some concern with the fact that there are 2 suspects on the loose. It was around 5 o'clock this morning when investigators say they got a call about someone who had stolen a car in the area of East Broncos Parkway and South Jordan Road. That's roughly about 5 miles away from where we are right now. And it's an area that is roughly, or that has a lot of homes, a lot of residences, and a lot of fields there too. We're told that a chase ensued when a deputy spotted that vehicle, but it just wouldn't stop. And then that car ended up crashing into another deputy's car near where we are right now, South Yosemite and Dry Creek Road. The 5 people who were inside that car were told took off running. We're told a deputy shot one of those suspects who took off running, a suspect who had a weapon on him at the time, and another suspect, a female minor, was also taken into custody. DPD ended up taking a 3rd suspect into custody as well, a suspect who had taken a light rail, all the way to Union Station. But again, with 2 suspects who are still on the loose and could be armed and dangerous, authorities say that residents here need to be careful.
We still have a lot of investigation to do here. We still have 2 suspects who have not been apprehended. So we urge people to be aware, use caution. We don't have much of a description. We have a Hispanic female and a Hispanic male, possible juvenile age or juvenile in appearance. So please be aware as you're heading out this morning.
And we should note that the 2 significant road closures in this area, Dry Creek and Yosemite, those have just been lifted. So those 2 busy roads are again open, and that just happened within the past 30 minutes or so. Taronda, when it comes to the shooting itself, investigators say there are still some unanswered questions there. They're adamant about the fact that there was no exchange of gunfire and that the deputy was the only one who fired shots at the suspect, who did have a weapon on him at the time. So there is some more investigation that needs to happen into exactly what unfolded in the shooting this morning.
Okay, you've caught us up on a lot. So 9 News reporter Jessica O, thank you. Denver police are adding reinforcements to help them investigate crashes. The department is set to announce a new crash investigation unit today. They'll also unveil new vans that the unit will be using. Now, the crash investigation team will help people who get into minor accidents. That will free up time for other officers to respond to more urgent calls. Let's take a live look right now over Elitch's. Boy, oh boy, all the kids must wish they were out of school now. The water park looks like it's the place to be. We're going to get around 80, even warmer tomorrow. But as usual, we've got a chance for storms. Let's talk to meteorologist Danielle Grant. Doesn't it look fun out there to be in the water already?
Oh my gosh, so much fun. And this is the time to do it. You got to really hit the pools, hit the water parks early on, because we're going to be watching the chance of thunderstorms pretty much each and every afternoon as we head toward the weekend. So got to keep that in mind. A lot of folks actually up in the high country, skiers and snowboarders just hanging on to the season out there at A Basin. skies getting a little darker out there as we do have a few storms that are already rumbling through parts of the mountains and foothills. For now, overlooking downtown, beautiful. We do have some blue skies, a few clouds that are sitting just to the west across the foothills. Those are going to be those storms that will be making their way into the city across the eastern plains by this afternoon. 75 right now in the metro area, upper 70s, low 80s for the eastern plains. Up in the high country, low 50s in Leadville and low 80s for the western slope and Grand Junction. Right now on HD Doppler 9, you can see the storms beginning to fill in from the west. They primarily are hanging out in the mountains, the foothills, and eventually will make their way down here to the metro area along I-25 within the next couple of hours. We do have a chance for seeing some of these storms turn severe. However, that primarily will be along I-76 and the furthest eastern side of I-70 heading out toward Kansas in through Burlington. So just kind of keep that in mind. Large hail really is going to be the problem today. A warm one at daytime highs. They're going to be close to 80 degrees. Another chance for seeing some sun and storms coming in, as well as the heat. Taronda, I'm letting you know just how hot it will get coming up in a few short minutes.
Okay, Danielle, that heat already having an impact. Look at I-25. Breaking news from there between Orchard and Bellevue, the northbound lanes. There is a huge fire burning on I-25 between Orchard and Bellevue. That's near DTC. We see those lanes backed up northbound. There was a little bit of traffic getting by southbound, but as you can imagine, with so many people probably being startled by this, they're going to stop. Northbound is closed on I-25, so if you are headed that direction, you cannot get through between Orchard and Bellevue. You need to plan a different route because there's no getting around this fire right now. It appears this may be a vehicle that's on fire. We have not gotten a lot of information yet from firefighters. They're obviously busy on this, but it looks like this is a truck that's on fire in the northbound lanes of I-25 between Orchard and Bellevue. All lanes are closed northbound. You'd be hard pressed to get by southbound either, with lanes creeping past as people wonder what's going on, and firefighters keep that area clear because the smoke is blowing through on those southbound lanes as well. This live view coming from our CDOT cam, but we are following the story and looking for more information for you. Be sure to tune back in on 9 News and online and on social media, and we'll get you more information on that as we get it. In the meantime, a police sergeant from CU Boulder is in big trouble today. He's being charged with felony stalking. The Boulder County District Attorney says Sergeant Michael Dodson is accused of stalking another CU employee. Longmont police have taken over this investigation. Dodson has been placed on administrative leave. He's been with the department since 1996. Westbound Evans between Pecos and Raritan Streets in Denver will be shut down for the rest of the day. That's because of a water main break. Here's how it all looked. Denver Water says crews are working to repair an 8-inch pipe that's 107 years old, so it needs to be replaced. 13 buildings lost their water when repairs began at 5:30 this morning. Eastbound lanes on Evans will remain open, though, throughout the day. A massive suicide truck bombing in Kabul, Afghanistan has killed 90 people. Media there also report 400 people have been wounded, among them 11 U.S. citizens. It's one of the worst attacks Kabul has seen since the drawdown of foreign forces from that country at the end of 2014. Today's blast at what's supposed to be the most secure place of Kabul. The bomb was in a vehicle detonated by the gate of the German embassy. The American embassy is shaken but not damaged. The Taliban quickly denied responsibility for this attack, so that would make ISIS the most likely suspect, but they have not said so yet. The Devil's Head Fire Lookout is the last manned fire tower in Colorado, and the same person has been climbing those 143 steps watching for fires for more than 3 decades. 85-year-old Billy Ellis has worked for the U.S. Forest Service for 33 years. He and his wife live in a small cabin at the base of the tower from late May to early October. It's about 1.5 miles from the nearest road, so they hike out whenever they need something. Billy admits the trek to his summer job takes a little longer than it used to.
Well, when we first started years ago, I could do it in about 25 minutes. But now it takes me over 2 hours.
Oh my goodness, 25 minutes, that was super fast. Well, we'll have more on Billy and his wife adventures and extraordinary 33 years at Devil's Head tonight at 6 on Next. Well, still ahead on 9 News, why the Homeland Security Chief says terrorists are obsessed with the idea of bringing down an American plane and how that could force them to expand the laptop ban. And proof that even the most edgy comedians can go too far. The fallout continues for comedian Kathy Griffin. We are back with that breaking news from I-25 between Bellevue and Orchard. CDOT camera is turning around, but once it gets to the right angle, you're going to see a huge fire that's burning in the northbound lanes of I-25 between Bellevue and Orchard. There's the smoke coming from it right around DTC, and now you can see no traffic getting through north or southbound, and they've actually stopped some of that oncoming traffic far behind where that fire would begin. They're really trying to keep everyone clear. We don't have control over this CDOT camera. Otherwise, we would definitely be focused on this shot. So not sure why CDOT is flipping it around now, but we did see huge flames, lots of smoke coming from the area of that fire. Started burning just a few minutes ago, and it's been getting, it seems like, heavier over the past few minutes. At first, it was a lighter color smoke, not very many flames, and now we're seeing that heavy, dark, black smoke with lots of flames. Again, traffic stopped in the northbound and southbound lanes of I-25 between Bellevue and Orchard because of a vehicle fire. We're going to keep you posted on this and try to give you some better views of it, but you can clearly see why no one's getting through. Just too dangerous of a situation. There's a better look at it. Those flames have gotten heavier, thicker over the past couple of minutes. So if you know anyone in that area, this is why they're not getting to where they need to be right now, because officials have completely stopped traffic in both directions, trying to keep them away from this fire. We'll keep following this for you and update you on any new information that we get. For now, let's turn to your weather with meteorologist Danielle Grant. You know, Danielle, we're going to get pretty warm today, and you hate to see a fire like that.
Absolutely, Toronto. In fact, daytime highs well on their way to the low 80s by this afternoon, and then the temperatures just continue to climb really for the next couple of days. With the warmer temperatures come some afternoon thunderstorms too. We'll take a quick check on the San Juans, where you can see some of those darker clouds, storms pushing in from the west-southwest, and already out there across the Denver metro area, we really have seen some nice skies. But as far as traffic is concerned on this particular shot, all is looking okay. We're at 75 right now out of DIA. Mostly sunny skies, winds out of the north, only 3 miles per hour. That's all right. Here in the backyard, our temperatures feeling fantastic. We too are sitting in the mid 70s, well on our way to the upper 70s, low 80s across most of the metro area. In fact, you're going to find daytime highs around 82 in Sterling, upper 80s in Lamar, 60s in Frisco, Aspen, about 76 in Salida, and the heat is on further out to the west, where they too will be in the 80s. Right now on HD Doppler 9, we have plenty of storms that are coming our way. In the meantime, around the mountains, the foothills, we're starting to see just a couple of little pockets firing up, a handful of thunderstorms moving in from parts of Jeffco into Douglas counties. For now, the metro area is dry, but anticipate maybe 1 or 2 of these thunderstorms coming our direction within the next couple of hours. Really, I'm anticipating the bullseye for seeing severe weather to be across the northeastern plains along I-76, Sterling, Julesburg, Ray, Burlington. You folks all are going to be looking at the threat for seeing large hail as well as some wind gusts 60, 70 miles per hour. Tonight, temperatures cooling off, low 50s around town. We stay in the 50s across eastern Colorado, about 35 in Leadville, and low 40s for the Steamboat Springs area. Again, the rest of this afternoon into tonight, 5, 6 o'clock, there's some thunderstorms beginning to form off to the eastern plains. By 11 o'clock, things starting to quiet down. And then tomorrow morning, you'll wake up, it's dry, it's beautiful, it's sunny, just like today. But then here we go. We fast forward to the afternoon, about 3, 4 o'clock. Here comes the clouds, here comes the storms. The heaviest storms tomorrow afternoon will primarily be on the western slope, so the eastern plains tomorrow, it looks like you folks should get a nice break. You can see your planning forecast showing 80s really across the board. Storms turning more isolated on Friday. The weekend looks toasty around here. Definitely Saturday looking like the pick day with mostly dry and quiet conditions. We'll bring back a chance for a few scattered thunderstorms Sunday and into the start of next week. We'll be right back.
To say there are a lot of snakes out this time of year across Colorado would be a bit of an understatement. We did a story on large bull snakes slithering through a Westminster neighborhood, and it got a lot of you folks talking on our 9 News Facebook page, posting pictures of large snakes outside of homes in Aurora, Parker, Westminster. The list really goes on, so we brought in an expert to talk about this, Lauren Truitt from Parks and Wildlife. Thanks so much for being here. After I did my little heebie-jeebie snake dance, okay, so now let's talk about the facts. So yes, we're talking about bull snakes is what a lot of people are seeing, but it's really hard to decipher a bull snake from a rattlesnake.
It can be. Coloring markings look very similar, and they cohabitate, so they're in the same areas. So a lot of times people think they see one and it could be the other, right, but there are some distinguishing factors. What you really need to do is you look at their head. Rattlesnakes have a more triangular or diamond-shaped head, where the sides of their head is actually wider than their body. Bull snakes, it's kind of a nice sleek body to head transition. You can also tell the biggest distinguishing factor is the tail. So rattlesnakes have a creamish beige colored rattle on the end of their tail. Well, bull snakes, it's that nice pointed snake-like tail.
And of course, this is if you're close enough to tell which is which. And so rattlesnakes are the ones that are poisonous.
They are.
Bull snakes are considered harmless.
They are. Although bull snakes can bite and it does hurt, they pose no significant threat. You don't have any venom that you have to worry about. You don't have to seek medical attention. It just hurts. It stings and then it's done.
Yeah, one of our 9 News producers, she was the one that originally sent in a picture of one of these bull snakes, and a lot of people were like, well, did you kill it?
Yes.
And so she was like, well, no, I didn't. She found a grassy area, and you know, I don't know how she did this, but she off it went.
Yes.
But what are sort of the rules around that?
So snakes aren't listed in the state of Colorado, meaning that you can legally kill a rattlesnake, and you're not going to get in trouble for killing a bull snake, but you really don't have to. Although there are a lot of phobias out there and people fear snakes, you can give them their space. As with any wildlife, the more space you give them, especially when they start showing aggression, the better off you are. So back away slowly, give them enough distance, and then you can turn around and walk away. Find a different trail. If they're in your yard, go inside and grab a tea or something. Give them a little bit of time. Most snakes don't want anything to do with us either.
I always get a little bit nervous because I tend to hike in the high country with my dog.
You bet.
And seeing snakes is a totally new experience since I moved to Colorado 3 years ago. So it can be a little scary. Any advice for the people out there with their pets?
Sure, keep your dogs on a leash. That's one of the best things with any wildlife encounter is to have them leashed, because then you're in control. You can get out of the area quickly. With a snake, be careful, especially if you have kids or you're climbing on rocks. They love to sun themselves in that warm southwestern facing sun. So they're going to be out on rock ledges. So watch out where you're putting your hands. They could be in the middle of a trail, but again, they want nothing to do with you either. So most of the time, the closer you get to a snake, they will actually leave the area.
Yeah, that's why we're seeing them so much, because it's getting warmer now and they like the warmth. I don't blame them, except I blame them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Lauren, thank you so much for being here. We do appreciate the insight.
Yeah.
An update on that breaking news. The big fire has closed both directions of I-25 between Orchard and Bellevue. South Metro Fire says that this is a fuel tanker of some kind. It crashed. There was an explosion. The driver has been taken to the hospital. This is going to be a lengthy closure. Do not expect to get around this anytime soon. And it has also affected light rail. RTD says the E, F, and R lines are all closed because of this fire. They do not have shuttles. E, F, and R lines closed between Dry Creek and Bellevue. So you have to find another way to get where you need to go if you're depending on light rail or on this section of I-25. We'll keep you posted on this story throughout the day. In the meantime, sometimes even comedians can go too far. Kathy Griffin is learning that lesson today. The comedian is facing major fallout over a photo depicting her holding a severed head that resembles President Donald Trump. Griffin has apologized, but the photo has already cost her at least one job. CNN has cut ties with her. Griffin had been one of the co-hosts of the network's New Year's Eve coverage. Okay, we're updating you on this fire burning on I-25 between Dry Creek and Bellevue. That fire in the northbound lanes, but you can see on the median right there, it kind of spilled over into the southbound lanes too. This is a tanker. The driver was taken to the hospital. Both sides of the interstate have been shut down. There's no way around this. Several lines are closed because of this, with light rail. RF and E lines are shut down in that area. No shuttles being run. You have to find a different way if you're planning to take the light rail. And we know lots of cars are stuck on the interstate right now in both directions, trying to figure out how long it'll be before they get around this. But again, a tanker has crashed on I-25 northbound between Dry Creek and Bellevue. It has stopped traffic in both directions on I-25. We will keep you posted on this. Be sure to check in online, on social media, and on 9 News at 4. Let's talk to Danielle. Danielle, it's such a hot day though, too.
It is, absolutely. We've been watching temperatures in the mid-70s right now. We're well on our way to the low 80s, and then we stay there through the weekend. We'll also be tracking some afternoon storms, Taronda.
Okay. Thank you, Danielle, and be sure to stay tuned for more information on that breaking fire.